poem Dover Beach, there isn't much of a rhyme scheme, but an example of a rhyme scheme is in the second stanza when it's an A-B-A-C-B-C rhyme scheme. It's an iambic through some part of the poem, but the rest is just a free write.
Matthew Arnold was born on December 24th, 1822, and died on April 15th, 1888. Throughout his life, he was a scholarly man. Throughout his life, he also attended a numerous amount of colleges, including Winchester College, Rugby School, and Oxford. In 1857, he became a professor of poetry at Oxford University. Matthew Arnold was also the first poet to ever recite a poem in English rather than Latin in Oxford.
Drop the mic.
Matthew Arnold grew up in a time just after the scientific revolution, where education was becoming more valued. Because of this, more and more people were viewing things such as nature and creation in a more scientific way. People were trying to describe how things happened rather than having faith that they were just made that way. For example, theories of the Big Bang Theory were beginning to be taught. Matthew Arnold recognized this increase in scientific views and the resulting decrease in faith, and he wrote about it in his poem, Dover Beach.
Matthew Arnold valued religion and wrote about it in other pieces besides Dover Beach. For example, in his poem, Immortality, Arnold discusses getting to the afterlife. In this stanza, Arnold uses rich imagery to paint a picture in the reader's mind. It is nighttime, and the narrator is gazing out of the ocean and observing the shore, watching the waves come in and out, tumbling pebbles with them. If the reader were to only read this stanza, it would be vague as to what it is referencing, and it could be merely a pretty poem. But it is later revealed that the ocean and the movement of the waves has another meaning.
In stanza, the narrator is standing on a beach, and the sounds of the waves remind him of an ancient Greek playwright called Sophocles. And in the playwright, it's about a dark and depressing story where all the characters at the end die. And so he describes the water on the beach kind of like dark and muddy, so it reminds him of that playwright. And then towards the end of the stanza, it says, "We." And that means that he's not alone on the beach, he's with someone. And it says that also that the waves remind him of something else, but remind them of something else, but it's not clear what it reminds him of.
The ocean described in the first two stanzas is a metaphor, the sea of faith. Faith is receding because of the scientific views of the scientific resolution. When Matthew Arnold describes the waves going in and out, that's when he's describing about faith and religion. In the last few lines, he's talking about how faith is being lost.
In the last stanza, Matthew Arnold talks about his lover again. He says, "Ah, love, let us be true to one another." If the world can't keep its faith, or if the world's faith is changing, then hopefully their love can stay the same. He also refers to the world as a land of dreams, as in there are many ideas to believe in, such as scientific reasoning or believing in your religion. Also, dreams can refer to the world as being unreal. But in reality, there's nothing to look forward to, and it cannot be helped. When he says, hath really neither joy, nor love, nor light. And here we are, as on a darkling plain, he refers to the earth, as he does not like the new scientific reasoning. He is swept with confused alarms of struggle and fight. In this, he talks about fighting about the ideas. And the mood of this passage ends with being dark and hopeless and scared that Matthew Arnold cannot come back to his religion, just like the sea.